Good morning.
Are you there?
Yes, we are, but we haven't
Okay.
started.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think we're ready to call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the December 12th meeting. Is there any additions or corrections to the December 12th minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Now, are you filling in for Pat, Sarah, or who's?
No. She did not give me any update for human services.
Okay,
Yeah.
Are we still in?
Not sure of that. For what, for Pat's?
First they were in.
They were, I can give that update when I do mine, sure.
okay, let's see, I guess we need an official vote for the minutes. I didn't think we did if we had a consensus. So is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye or raise their hand. Thank you. Minutes, motion carries. As everyone knows, Pat is officially changed her position as of the 1st. And now she's here, what did you say, 2 or 3 days a week?
Yeah,
Is it 2 or 3?
I don't know,
Oh.
you have to ask her. She emailed all of the staff her schedule. She will be in the building, most Tuesdays and Thursdays and working remotely some days, but week to week, the schedule varies. But if anybody needs to contact her, certainly continue to go through the main number to Human Services or via email is probably the best way. My understanding is she'll stay on through February with the primary goal of making sure the recruitments in the department get going as much as possible and also going through the budget process.
Okay, and I guess you're right.
All right, in terms of the senior center, yeah, I haven't been here in a couple months. We have a very, very busy end of the year. So with November and December, we are doing 3 back-to-back very large events. This year, doing them without somebody running the kitchen in Sharon's position was challenging, but they were all incredibly successful. I think our Veterans Day, if you haven't heard, was just a wonderful, wonderful event with a lot of community support. Same thing with Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we were really thrilled with the way that those went, given that we were shorthanded. Got a great team behind me, so kudos to them. And now we are excited to kind of roll into the new year. For me, I have some staffing updates. Sharon's position is still not filled. As of this morning, she left in August. So it's been September through December. When I looked this morning, HR has pulled it off the list of job openings. I'm not sure why. I think they have a lot of recruitments going on right now. So hopefully that'll get reposted soon. We did hire a 19-hour kitchen assistant in November. Yay. Her name is Sandra Larson. She's wonderful. She's come in and actually we started her in November, and January 3rd, we launched a new meal program. So we're excited about that. I'll give you some more details in a moment on what we're doing and how we're kind of looking at this interim period. Also super excited, we hired a second driver. So both of those positions, the kitchen assistant and the part-time temporary driver, were positions that were funded through that COVID funding. We waited a long, long time for them to get posted. We're really excited to have them both on board, and I do believe we have a good 2.5, 3 years or so to use that money. The driver's name is Aiden Kerboy. He's going to be with us 19 hours a week. He'll be starting on January 26th. The first 3 weeks or so, he will be shadowing Dave and training with him very closely. But at that point, we'll be looking at supplementing what we're doing in all aspects of our medical transportation, but particularly trying to prioritize medical. So we will keep you posted as we roll those details out, but that was all really good news. Yeah. Other than that, we've got a lot of great programming lined up. If you haven't seen our January newsletter, take a look. Tailgate party is back, so we'll be celebrating the Yukon Huskies this month. And like I said, we made a decision to move a different direction with our lunch program. And there's lots of reasons for that. We have seen the numbers in TVCCA decrease significantly since really prior to COVID. So we've been watching that. When Sandra came in, my choice was I could use Sandra and these hours to support the TVCCA lunch program, or we could use her to start moving towards one of our goals, which would be providing more through Maple Road Cafe, the license that oversees that cafe. Obviously, it is not realistic to start a cafe again with 19 hours. But what we decided to do instead was start making our own homemade lunches. So we're doing that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The lunch is available as dine-in, or you can take it out. You can pick it up for dinner or a late lunch between 1 and 4. We've come in at very affordable. We've made each meal $5 per person. It's not a suggested donation in the way that TVCCA is, and that was one of my concerns. So far, we have not had any negative feedback about that. I do have things in place so that if cost were a problem or an issue for somebody, I do want them to come and see me so we can work with them around making sure that isn't a barrier. So far, it's gone really, really well. So I'll give an example. Last week was week 1. Thursdays was the day we had canceled because in general, we were getting between 4 and 7 people for TVCCA. 2 of those people came in and worked in the kitchen. Last Thursday, Sandra made, oh my gosh, this baked chicken with this breading and herbs and spices, baked potatoes, a squash casserole, and a dessert, all for $5 a person. And we had 25 people come for lunch on a Thursday with no other activity going on either side. So we think we know what we're going to see over the next couple of months. I am using this as a pilot. We're going to do this for January, February, and probably March. And then we're going to compare numbers. If at that point Sharon's position is not filled, we're going to reevaluate. We're going to figure out how to go forward and how to do it in a way that's more accessible, what people need, filling the nutrition, but also in a way that makes more sense for what our community is looking for. So we are very excited about that. Again, if you haven't met Sandra yet, she's amazing. So stop in and say hello, and definitely come join us for lunch. Any questions on any of that? Yeah.
How are the takeout meals packaged?
We have takeout containers that we've been using through COVID. So
Styrofoam?
no, we don't use styrofoam.
Okay. Is it something that can be popped into the oven or microwave if somebody's picking them up for later?
It depends on the meal.
Yeah.
If it's smushy and saucy, then we're gonna put it in a foil. If not, we use like a general kind of cardboardy takeout container. So that's not something you'd put in the oven, but real easy for someone to do that.
Have you thought about sending the statistics of how many people come to the town so that they could like say, oh, this is increasing, let's try and put that position back on?
I am which position, Sharon?
Sharon, yeah.
I don't expect that it won't go back on. I just think because it was open for 4.5 months with zero, we did not interview a single person. There were some applicants, but nobody that was going to be, that I felt was going to be able to come in and run a commercial
So my
kitchen.
next question
So I
is,
think they will, but I am absolutely carefully keeping track of this so that down the road we can say, here's why. This is what we want to do.
so does that have to be, so she was not strictly TVCCA, right?
No, she
Okay.
was actually not TVCCA at all.
Oh, okay.
Some years ago, TVCCA pulled their contribution to that staffing position. They used to give, when I first started, they used to give about $1,800 once or twice a year, and that would offset the cost of our kitchens, Sharon's position. Because of funding, they pulled that several years ago.
Okay,
So all of our kitchen staff is Mansfield town staff,
okay, so. that-
which means it's our choice how we want to use that. There are implications with that, and those are the pieces I'm trying to be real careful about. You know, the Meals on Wheels program is theirs. We staff it.
Mhm.
It's important. We have to have some real conversations. If ultimately we decide not to do their lunch program, which we might, we gotta make some real conversations about Meals on Wheels, because that has to continue in some
Yeah.
way.
We have a lot.
You know,
of
that makes
people
sense.
on Meals on-
We don't. It is generally on Mondays, we generally do about 15 or 16, and then Tuesday through Friday, it's about 8 or 9 deliveries. It's not a huge group.
But still.
But it's important.
necessary.
It's important, and it's gotta be there. So we're not at all talking right now about stopping with TVCCA. We're just looking at which parts of the program make more sense, and which parts are really supporting seniors in our community that we can put our time into. Okay? All right.
For the minimum time takeout.
Yep.
Is there a 24-hour reservation notice or?
So for all of the meals, the reservation has to be done by Monday at 9. So the week you want to eat, which would be either Tuesday or Thursday, we need those reservations Monday at 9 because we have to shop on Monday. Okay. Yep. Lots of people are doing it for the month. You know, we want to make that as easy as possible. So signing up is pretty easy, but just let us know. All right. I can't think of any other updates, but it's been a while. So if you have other questions or thoughts or things that I'm forgetting, let me know.
Any questions from the online people? Okay. Will sent me an email this morning saying he was under the weather and he didn't have anything particular to report for WRTD or for his housing. So that leaves Martina as the only housing representative.
Well, no, that's vacant. Remember, we were gonna change this. We changed it in the minutes.
Okay.
That's still vacant.
Does that mean you're out to lunch, Regina?
Yes.
Which sort of raises the question as to how much we need those housing representatives. At this point, I would just suggest you think about it and see whether it's time we drop that or whether there is some benefit either to the community, housing community, or to the town.
I have a question. If we don't have a representative, do we know? And I may have missed because I missed the meetings.
Speak up, no.
How many positions, like Glen Ridge is changed. There's a lot of changes, and I was just talking with a few of my neighbors, and they're saying there's plenty of elderly housing in stores. And I'm like, well, this was at my dinner table. Like, we are told, I don't know what website you're looking at, but we've been told the only place that has vacancy is Juniper Hill. So how would we get updates on this if we eliminate that position?
Okay,
If we
we
eliminate,
haven't been getting that information to the housing representatives. But it's good information, maybe we ought to look into
reevaluate how to get it
how we can get it.
and put it out to the public. I don't know what website, but he's like, Mansfield is, I don't know where these people get their information, but they're saying we provide everything, transportation and everything, and what we hear here is, that's not true. Transportation, housing, all these things. So I don't know what they're accessing, but maybe we should reevaluate how we can put that information out.
Well, prior to COVID, we had representation when people came.
Right.
So I think that's been part of the problem. And also Glen Ridge has gone, there's a lot of new people. So what I want to do is do another advertisement for them to put in their community room for people. And then I'll see about mass campaigning. I thought about just giving out things. So,
Take some cookies.
yeah.
It was-
We can stand and make some cookies.
My court saying the only thing I hear with the committee that Juniper Hill is the only place that has opportunity for housing, and
With a long.
It's a long
waiting
waiting list.
but I don't know how they, he said, how I've looked into it, there's a lot of places available. for people. And I'm like, where are you getting this information?
Well, maybe what he needs is that seniors anywhere in the town of Mansfield, but there are very few vacancies. Maybe that's what the person.
So how do we get that across? On website or? I don't know. Town, is it on the website, the town website?
Get the information, part of it may be what we're thinking of in terms of senior housing. In terms of affordability, in terms of access and services. Your independent wealthy,
Yes,
is all over the place.
most of these people in my neighborhood retired from Yukon and they don't have a problem paying, but there's people that can't pay the rents that are happening now. So I don't know. I think that's part of our job to provide that. There's not,
I guess I'm not clear, what is it that you want us to provide? You think we should provide?
if there is housing with medical attached to it or to address what is available out there for the community.
It's in the, I think your fingertips brochure has information about different housing here. I don't know how, when you say medical attached, Juniper Hill Village does not have medical attached. Medical is still up to the individual senior in the town of Mansfield. The only thing that has medical attached would be Juniper. No. The Mansfield Rehab Center, which is the convalescent and rehab.
And
center.
that's limited because they only have one person per room now. So all these things have changed.
And it's not resident, it's not considered a
A
resident
resident,
either,
right.
residence either. It's a medical
So
facility.
I guess I was concerned when he's telling me there's a lot here. Mansfield, the town of Mansfield offers a lot when it comes to senior housing. And I'm like, not that I'm aware of, maybe.
Well, we have Wright's Way, we have Juniper Hill Village, we have Glen Ridge. We have Rolling Hills.
Rolling Hills is rapidly becoming not senior friendly.
Okay, well, but we still have it, so maybe that's what he's looking at.
And most of these people are ex-university people and, you know, they have the money to move anywhere, but I would imagine, I don't know numbers, so how do we find out how much need there is for senior, affordable senior house?
Okay, the item is not on our agenda, so we can't take action on anything. How about if I add it to next month's agenda and we consider what we can actually do to find that information and maybe
And then go from there,
take some action?
then we could push for senior housing.
That's what we're
Like I
doing,
said, yeah,
that's what we're doing, it's a commission.
Okay. Then going to old business, believe it or not, February is next month. How do we go about finding good senior centers to request tour information from?
what, I missed the presentation, I left early when they had the presentation. What was the time frame that, did they provide a time frame when their proposals would be available to go move on with the center? Was that addressed?
Oh, I don't know, but right now, John's, not to confuse me, John's talking about visiting these different places, us visiting these different places.
Right.
And we have a list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we have a
have a
list, we have a list.
If you want to reevaluate that, or the ones that you were interested in.
I guess I wasn't aware of the list.
There is,
Yeah,
yeah,
we have a list.
Where that's been
Wallingford, Broughton, we
Yeah.
talked about Wyndham, but I know you two made it
Yeah,
over
Laura and
there.
Yeah.
Laura and Abington, Wyndham.
East
Yeah.
Hartford.
East Hartford,
We
we
went through this,
did.
yeah, we have a list.
I know there's a couple more, but yeah, we have a list.
We have Enfield, I think, on that list.
Okay.
Did you say
in
Rockland?
Preparation for a discussion next month, would you send that list to the committee?
Sure.
You had mentioned you went to a seminar. And there are people that specialize. Is that something that could be available for us to read or have that person?
Why don't I bring that along with this meeting as well?
Yeah.
Just what Joanne is referring to, in October, I was able to go to the MCOA conference in Massachusetts, which is always awesome. But this time there was a really neat workshop that was a two-part on building a new senior community center. And this guy, I was very impressed and very excited at the way he thought differently about building senior centers. So we got this really nice bound book with a lot of information in it. And I had said to Joanne, I'm gonna bring that into one of the meetings. So this will be perfect for next time. We can look at some centers and I'll bring that in and answer any questions, but anybody wants to borrow it and look through it. He just, he really knew his stuff.
Do you know how to get the funding and?
It was multifaceted, it was. He really touched on all aspects of developing a plan to build a new center. But he also is so senior focused in a way that I hadn't seen other people talk about before. Really modified things within the building through his experience over the years of building senior centers and seeing how that stuff plays out. So I'll give you some more specifics and bring them
He
both.
was,
Thank you.
was he a director or?
No, he's an architect.
Would it be relevant, helpful, advisable to have him talk to us, or is everything he would say covered in the book that you have?
I mean, I'm not sure if that's something that he does. But I think it would certainly be a conversation that you as a committee interested in the building project could pursue. Maybe he could join us via a meeting once, something like that. So, yeah,
Now, how
I'd like
does
to look
that
at the-
affect us with the town council and stepping on their toes?
I think what I took from that seminar for me, if they decide to go with the company that has made the proposal at this point, that's great, but this, this will give us a lot of talking points.
Yeah.
And a lot of guidance
Yes.
on things that I was like, oh, I didn't think about that, oh.
Okay, good.
Very small details, so you see the wainscoting around this room. He generally will do that down hallways, but at the right length so that if somebody
Yeah.
needs an assist as they're walking, it's more like a handrail, but it's done in this architectural way. There were certain ways he would design hallways and lighting because of the way it's difficult or not for seniors specifically in a building. Those were pieces I hadn't heard yet. And I was
That's what I was
excited.
getting at, that it would be.
So
helpful
I think for us, it's a resource, just starting and going down this road will give us a lot of tips.
Have we invited a council member to hear him and what
Well,
he
I
has?
think that's down the road, and it's not on the agenda, so we can't discuss it. I think first what we need to do is look at the book, the presentation, and go through it, so we have in our minds what we want, because that's why we're doing all these trips, because we want to have something to present once the town says, okay, we have the architect, now we need to go forward. That's where we need to have critical mass for all of
I'm
this.
just afraid they're gonna be critical of us stepping
No,
on
no,
their toes.
Yeah.
Resources into our visits.
We're just collecting-
This is another resource into our visits.
It's
as
just
we
like
start
going
answering.
to see the ones that have already done renovations.
We are-
And we'll probably see one that he's done. He's done a lot in New England. We'll probably see one of them. So the book again will just help add to our information.
So, how are we leaving it? We're gonna
Next
evaluate the
month,
book?
we're going to talk about visits. We will highlight the ones we want to see and kind of make a, which one's first. And then I can share with you some more from that and make the book available for folks to take a look at. Does that sound good?
And consider the option for inviting him over.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like the idea that if we go to the extent to invite him, at a minimum, we ought to send a note to all the council members,
An invitation,
invitation.
a strong invitation.
Or at least have one or two there
Yes,
to see what he may
Yes.
have above what the existing.
just in case we don't get invited to input into the architectural
Oh, no,
ideas.
we're being invited, we're gonna be a thorn in their.
Okay. But every little bit helps, Martina.
Yeah,
Every thorn we can get.
Is there an electronic version of the book available?
That's what I was wondering.
No, you actually had to attend the seminar both days in order to sign one out.
Does he- does
And I
he-
can share his name and information. I'm sure he has a website too.
Where's he from?
I don't remember. October was too long ago, but he's done a lot of work about New England.
yeah.
That's
Nancy,
the kind of expertise. we need.
Could you share his name or can you, I mean,
I will, I'll bring it with me next month.
okay, that's fine. I was just curious.
Thank you.
Good, thank you, yes. Next item is the at your fingertips. We have half of the reviews done. And we still have 3 more to go. And I hope those people will get them into me soon.
I will do that.
Okay.
I'm one of the other ones who have to be.
I've been out of town, so
Well, I just barely got mine done yesterday. Don't do that.
And I'm one of those, but I'm not holding out a lot of hope, John, if you can reassign it to somebody
Okay.
more technologically equipped at the moment. I'm lucky if I can get into my email these days.
Devin isn't here, but last time we did the brochure, she was willing to take an editorial look at the completed thing. Match the fonts and the formats and whatnot. I propose that we do that again if she's willing.
Good
So
idea.
as soon as I get all the stuff together, I'll send it to her, then we'll send it to you.
John, John, excuse me, I'm sorry. I had meant, I can't see you, so it's weird. I had mentioned that I would look over the home care section since I'm very familiar with all the home care agencies. So I'll do that. I don't know who else has that section, but I'll do that anyway. And you can look at it.
That might be on my section, and thank you very much for wanting to do that section.
Yeah, because there's at least one agency that's no longer in business and, so I will look that, great. Okay, great. So I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, I was surprised at the number of editorials. I had expected in 2 years' time things would be stable. But, a lot of them are the same, but there's some significant differences.
Yeah, I'm nuts. Yeah, that makes sense. That is important to update. Thank you.
Martina,
Yes. So what I sent out was a draft of a letter to William Bill Thorne. So those people online, I sent it to everyone on the commission. So I don't know if you can access it in your email.
why don't you go ahead and read
All
it?
right, I will read it. Thank you, John. Cycling Without Age, William Thorne, and I'm going to read his address. Dear Mr. Thorne, thank you for the Cycling Without Age presentation on November 14th, 2022. The members of the Commission on Aging discussed your presentation at our December 12th, 2022 meeting. We had a number of questions, concerns, and suggestions. Bullet points. Is the Mansfield chapter of Cycling Without Age going to be a nonprofit with 501c3 status? Next bullet, will you seek grants or to support this program? Next bullet, have you recruited individuals for this program? Next bullet, have you presented the idea to the town council? Next bullet is have you presented your ideas to the Mansfield Rehab and Convalescent Center? The commission has concerns about people and vehicle safety. As you know, the roads in this town are narrow, hilly, and winding. The commission has concerns about liability and who would be responsible if there's an accident. We have forwarded your name and phone number to David Palmer, who is a cycling advocate and a member of a cycling group made up of town residents. Perhaps the group that he is involved with can offer you support. Since the program is in the planning stages, the Commission on Aging feels that at this time, it is too early to write a letter of support for the program. Commission members can certainly volunteer to support the program on an individual basis if they so desire. Again, thank you for the presentation. We wish you the best in establishing this program. And then I said, sincerely, the Commission on Aging, and everyone's name is listed.
Well done.
Yes.
The only thought I had was, has he presented it to the town council? He's going through the correct sequence of steps as I see it. It should come to us and then go to the town council rather than go directly to the town council.
Do we know if he's the one that started it down on Mystic?
He is not.
Okay.
Because we could see how they proceeded with it
Well,
to get grants and stuff.
I think that's not in our purview. I think like I said, we can do that. I think he needs to do this first.
Yeah.
Because we don't really have much of substance, I think. So
We're not even at the point of agreeing to support him yet, so might be a little early.
So
I wonder if we should just take that bullet out or suggest he eventually, when the program is more completely formulated, he might consider presenting it to the town council.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's our position to do that.
That's one of our suggestions.
Well, we can,
Elephant one.
We suggest that you take your proposal to the town council.
once it's completed. Any other comments? Okay.
David and Laura, did you open your copies? Were you able to open your copies?
Can she do it?
David, were you able to look at the copy?
I was too.
I think he's saying yes.
Yeah, the way we're set up, part of the technical difficulties is we don't have you on the large monitor. So we can just see one person at a time, and the other two, we have no idea whether they're raising their hand or smiling or frowning.
Yes, I'm raising my hand and smiling.
There you are, good.
Oh, me too.
Okay. Good, and with that minor change, why don't you go ahead and send it?
Okay.
I guess we could even put it as a motion. Since you wrote it, would you move that we send this to Mr. Thorne? Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion that, we send this letter to, Mr. William Bill Thorne.
Second,
Any discussion, further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
I,
I,
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. I don't see any public. So I guess the next business would be to adjourn. If I hear a motion to adjourn,
I make a motion that we adjourn.
second,
all those in favor say aye.
I.
Aye.
See you next month. Thank you very much.
Thanks for bearing with us, you
Thank
guys. We'll
you.
get that straightened out for February.
Okay,
Happy New Year. Have a good month.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.